One thing I want to also add on too is basically what Stephanie Jones was saying. You gotta, love yourself. In order to be accepted. I am a firm believer that there's a lot of sisters out here that need to respect themselves.
Right.
It's not always the guys. I mean,
Right.
we do point the fingers at the guys at us. For you because first thing, number one, we are visual. Most of us are.
Right.
We are individuals. When the first thing that we see is the body.
Right.
And we all know at the end of the day, we only want one thing. I know some dudes are out there like, man, why'd you even put us out there like that, man? But no, but the truth is, real talk. But the truth is, women do need to respect themselves, and act a certain way, and present themselves in a more positive light. Because especially in our community, we see a lot of our own sisters being called out of their names, being portrayed in a negative lifestyle, and only being seen as sex objects. It not to say that it doesn't happen in white society and white media also, but it's like that's the only thing we have to offer. When we put our sisters out there. You care to expand on that?
Well, I agree with both Stephanie and I'm sorry, so bitter.
Chiquita.
Because you have to see yourself as valuable, one. And two, I agree with what you said, Shakita, that sometimes when you said that you did it because you thought that's what it took to get a man, and sometimes women are so desperate to pay the bills and get help and just get some of the burden off that we feel like by any means necessary, I'm going to get me a man. And so they put themselves out there. Not because that's who they are, but that's just what they think it takes, because it's what you see on TV, it's what you hear on the radio, and you're like, if I have to show a little something, shake a little something, give a little something, I'm going to get a man.
And my whole thing when I was dancing or whatever, I did it to graduate college because, no one ever told me to actually really go to school. Everybody, in my family was like, oh, well, Shakita, this is what you need to do. You need to, go to beautician, whatever it's called, beauty school, whatever the case. And I said, I want to go to college. No one ever gave me that extra push that I needed. And that's sometimes, that's what we need.
Right.
Like I said, life is not fair. You're dealing with the deck of cards that you was given. But, I needed that extra push. So no one gave it to me. I gave it to myself. And what I felt at the time that was appropriate for me, Shakita, that's what I needed to do, and that's what I did so I could graduate college and have a degree because nobody paid for it for me.
Right.
My family didn't have any money, so I was like, okay, this is what I need to do. Right. And it wasn't that I was looking for a man. It was like in foresight, I had these goals.
Right.
Okay? Yeah. This was the quickest way that I knew to obtain what I need to obtain to get to this goal. Right. Does that make sense? Because I knew Target wasn't going to do it for me.
No, I completely understand. Because in my case, when I was younger and single, I know exactly what you mean, where you're coming from, because you have the looks and you're like, what? Men are stupid. This is what I thought, and they're gonna pay my bills. They will pay my bills if I talk to them right. And I know, and some guys were just so happy, that you would give them some attention that they would pay your bills and you didn't have to do nothing.
You didn't have to do anything.
So I know what you're saying.
I didn't even cut you off because let me tell you what's so funny. It was sad, but it was funny. Like my two kids' father. I'm gonna go back to the whole stripping days. I never forget, he went to jail. Like I said, my choices in men were based upon the environment that I was in. But it was too funny because he went to jail, he got out, and before he even went to jail, he wasn't even taking care of the kids, okay? But when he went to jail and he got out, I was calling him. I said, look, we need help here. Please, can you help us? He didn't know I was dancing at the time. So guess what happened? He walked in the strip club. And I'm coming down because at the time, it was one dancer on the stage, at a time. It wasn't like 5, 6 women on the stage at a time. So they had smoke, everything. Here comes so-and-so, here comes Precious coming down the stage. So he was tipping this other girl. He just got out of jail. And I'm walking down the stage. I'm like, oh, okay. You don't even want to do nothing for your child, but you sitting over here giving your baby's money to this other girl that's on stage. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It was just I just had to let y'all guys know that because it was just too crazy
Wow.
to me.
Your name
It was
Precious?
sad, but I was like, okay.
Right.
Well, your name was Precious at the time?
No, it was not
you just using that as an example.
No. But it was sad because here it is. I'm breaking my back
Right.
because of the decisions and the choices that I made, which I made my bed. Now I gotta lie in it, whatever.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Here it is. I already had these 2 kids. One in high school, one going to college. I'm like, okay, now I gotta provide for these kids. Here it is. I want him to help me. He wasn't there helping me, so this was the quickest and most feasible thing that I could do at the time in my mind
To get that money.
to get the money.
Right.
And here it is. I'm coming down the stage, and he's sitting over here tipping somebody else.
Wow.
It's embarrassing, but like I said, and like she said, you gotta love yourself. And, for you to break the cycle, you gotta love yourself for anybody else to love you. And guess what? I can't blame him because this is how he was raised. This is what he was used to.
Right.
You gotta look at his environment. Not
Right.
only mine, but his. I can't blame him.
And no matter what, no matter what another person do to you, you're not responsible for them.
Right.
You're responsible for yourself.
Self, right.
So you have to make a conscious choice that you're not going to turn to the wrong things because, we've all been there. I cannot sit here and say that I have not been there, done that, because I used to call myself maestro because, I felt like I could play a man pretty good, because when I was involved with my first husband, I thought I was safe. I thought I was safe to get married to a minister, and then he was abusive, and it just made me really hate church people for a while, But I just didn't want nothing to do with the church, so I turned to the streets and clubbing and
Twyla
partying.
Twyla said she's been there before. You seen that before.
Yeah,
Seen that
whole
before.
chapter on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. We sitting here, we laughing, we joking a little bit, but this is very important
yes.
for,
Oh, yes.
every young
Right.
female or every young male, whether you're a young female or a young male watching this TV show right now. It's very informative because these are some of the things that, we are going through on an everyday basis. And it's important that, we have these type of dialogues like
Right.
this to raise awareness about domestic abuse, sexual abuse, and the stuff that we are putting out there in front of children, our
Right.
babies.
Right.
Because when they soak things up like sponges. That's why we always compare children as sponges because they soak up everything that they see and they
Everything.
want to portray the same person that they see on TV.
Right.
So that's something. I want to go ahead and just lighten the conversation up just a little bit.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and talk about dating and relationships.
It's not light.
Call it what you want, but this is something that we gotta, sit down and talk about as well.